All right, so we've got ZBrush 4 R8 installed, and you're probably wondering what's new. The first thing you're going to notice is this homepage that starts up when you start up ZBrush. If you don't want that to happen, just click this gear icon and say show if news updated, and then close out of this. If you ever want to launch your homepage again, you can go ahead and just click that homepage there, or you can go up here to your Z plugin miscellaneous utilities, and you've got your homepage in there if you did want to remove this. I'm going to assume that you already know generally how ZBrush works. If you don't know how ZBrush works, feel free to go to my YouTube channel, go to my playlist, and you'll see Intro to ZBrush Part 1 right here. This is 47 videos that'll get you up and running and comfortable in the basics of ZBrush. Of course, you can also watch Part 2 and Part 3, but at least watch Part 1. And now that we're in ZBrush, of course, we have the lightbox here. The lightbox, which you can hide if you click the hide button. If you want to show that again, just hit the comma key, or you can hit this lightbox button right here. If we want to go ahead and start playing with some stuff, let's go ahead and double click that demo soldier. This is a guy with a bunch of subtools here. It'll just be easy to kind of demonstrate some of the new functionality on this one. So what I'm going to start with first is going to be probably the first thing you're going to notice in ZBrush, minus the flatter interface buttons, is the gizmo. So if I hit W here, you're going to see immediately we no longer have the transpose line that shows up. Now, if you do want access to the transpose line, and there's some interesting things you can do with the transpose line, so don't forget it exists. You can go up here and you can turn that button off, and now you will have your ZBrush transpose line. If you turn that button back on, you'll be back to your gizmo, or if you hover over this, you're going to see gizmo is Y. You can use the Y key to toggle transfer from gizmo to transpose. So let's go ahead and hit Y, and we'll transfer back to the gizmo here. Then you're going to see we have 11 subtools here. So if I open up the subtool menu, under my tool menu, we have access to all these subtools here. Just like in the previous versions of ZBrush, if you Alt-tap any of these subtools, it's going to go ahead and select them. And if you want, you can Alt-select any of these things and go into solo mode. I'm just going to click the solo button right here, and that's going to throw us into solo mode. And now let's talk about the basics of this gizmo here. If you're used to any 3D package, this is probably going to look pretty familiar to you. You've got Y, which is green, Z, which is blue, and Z forward is usually what your orientation is within ZBrush. You've got Y up, Z forward, and then you've got X that goes to the left and to the right. As I move my camera around, you're going to notice that these corners and this disc right here stays stagnant. It doesn't move, it doesn't rotate. Everything else does, and what that means is it's camera based, it's camera facing. So that means if I want to move this, and when you're navigating in ZBrush, if you hold down Shift, it'll snap to the front view here. If you move this green arrow and you tap this, it's going to constrain it. I can move my mouse anywhere in the screen. It's going to constrain it to my Y-axis. Same thing if I click on this red one or click on this blue one, it'll constrain it to that axis. Now these corner ones out here, you're going to see when I hover over that is the move screen-based move. So what you can do is you can click this corner arrow and you can just move it based on the screen. Right now, it's because I'm snapped to the front view, it's just moving it along that front view flat plane. However, if I go over here and turn it this way, I can kind of move it around my screen this way. This might make a little bit more sense when you get into rotate here. So you're going to see, of course, just like with move, you can constrain your rotation values to the X, Z, and Y here. And again, color-coded, green, red, and blue. And if you hold down Shift, you're going to see you can snap it to increments here. And on the outside of this, just like we have the screen space corners right here for move, we have a screen space rotate. So if you snap to the front view here, it looks like we need to rotate that back. If we snap to the front view here, again, if you hover over this ring, you're going to see rotate screen. So now you can rotate just along this axis here, which is the exact same thing as if we kind of move our screen. It's the exact same thing as rotating in Z if your camera's snapped to the Z position. However, if we kind of break that, and now we're just kind of looking at this in kind of a three-corner view, we can still rotate along this screen axis here. So that'll come in handy when you're rotating things and you want to position them in a very specific way. You can line it up with your screen and then rotate along your screen axis as opposed to just rotating along the X, Y, and Z here. And I should probably mention, if you're going to be rotating this thing or moving this thing in screen space, you may want to have perspective turned off. So you can hit P and that'll toggle perspective on and off, or you can just click this little button up here.